If women were to disappear for a year, or even more, how would life be like? You might find these novels interesting. The Disappearance by Philip Wiley, The White Plague by Frank Herbert. Lonely without my wife and 2 daughters. There would be a massive healthcare worker shortage. Half the population vanished for a year? Apocalypse happens. I'd still be kissing the homies. Hell, because I would have only 2 co-workers. Fathers, sons, brothers, lovers. Would freak out and spend that year in depression and looking for their lost loved ones. Some new cults would be born. Some existing doomsday ones would get traction. Hospitals around the world would collapse around the world, because of lack of nurses, causing a shit ton of death and troubles in general. Same thing for other industries dominated by women. A shit ton of newborn boys would spend their first year without breastfeeding, must suck. A shit ton of industries and business based around women products, makeup, jewelry, would collapse. That'd be a real pain in the arse. 2 things. 1. I would miss my wife. 2. Target would go out of business. If I know they're gone for a year, I'm in the gym getting ready for the reemergence. If they vanish and I'm clueless, I probably just live in comfier, less stylish clothes. The price of pillows would drop dramatically. I'd love a year off. Where are we going, ladies? Things would get gayer than a Fire Island production of Cats. Loaded dudes on here wouldn't even notice. Without question, more gay sex. Stephen King wrote a book about this called Sleeping Beauties. It's a little more complicated than all the women just disappearing, but some shit goes down. I think I'd be chillin' in our place with all the other gals. Under no circumstances should I be left unsupervised for that long. Losing half the population would seriously damage most of the world's industries and public and private sector organizations. On a personal note, I'd lose most of my friends, but, as an ugly dude, my dating life would be unaffected. I'd miss the heck out of my wife. She's dope. My husband would never be able to locate his keys, wallet, phone again. Views on homosexuality would ease up real fast, I bet. Unamused face. Pretty damn miserable. Society will literally collapse. This is one of those questions with implications similar to the Thanos snap nobody thinks about. Hell, it's almost exactly the same. The answer is the collapse of civilization. You're basically asking what would happen if the Thanos snap happened, except we live in a world without superheroes. Civilization would end. Massive wars and resource fighting would break out as infrastructure crumbled. Governments and social order would fall apart quickly as a panicked 4 billion people, who have no information that the other 4 billion will ever come back, fall into despair. First of all, most cities on Earth burn to the ground. Why? Fires. When half of all people disappear, anyone who is lighting candles or cooking or working with fire, anyone who is smoking or using fire in any way is gone. Their homes start fires. In cities, they start large fires. You'd think, okay, firefighters are mostly men, no issue, right? But the roads are clogged with abandoned cars. All the cars women were driving are now in the middle of every street on Earth. I guess places like Saudi Arabia are okay since they don't view women as people and barely let them drive. But everywhere else, the firefighters can't drive down roads. I would guess 50 of all major cities burn to the ground in the first 2 weeks. Then you've got all the same issues with jobs, resources, family issues, depression, the economy, etc. that you might get from the snap. Except it's worse because we don't have superhero tech to cheat out of problems. When hospitals fail, there's no backup. When school staff disappears, record keepers, surgeons, senators. It all goes to chaos. All goes to war. Unlike an Infinity War, there won't be a public explanation. So everyone turns on each other. God did this. Aliens did this. Scientists did this. Nation X did this. War, depression and war. Civilization as we know it falls, full stop. The funny part is that's all what happens, guaranteed, without even addressing the fact that it's all the women. Of course that has terrible consequences as well. I'm going to guess suicide skyrockets a la Children of Men, since the remaining humans could rightfully assume there is no future for humanity since the last generation of children have been born. You'd also see an insane death toll to babies, children, and the elderly, since women by majority tend to oversee caretaking of these members of society. Probably 300 million dead in those categories in the first few weeks, in addition to the death toll from the fires and chaos. You're looking at 2 billion deaths in the first month, if not more. That means humanity loses 4 billion right away, then another half in a month. By 2 months in, there are probably less than 800 million humans left alive. War, famine, suicide, and chaos will probably have that by end of year. You could see global human population decline to under 400 million in 12 months. Now, if all men disappeared, This scenario would play out similarly. There could be more upfront deaths since more rescue workers tend to be men, and fewer midterm deaths since women have lower rates of suicide and would also be around to care for babies in particular. If women can get sustainable cloning gene work necessary to sustainably create new babies quickly, civilization probably wouldn't end, but it would still massively decrease. Maybe down to 1 billion in the first year just on the hope alone that humanity could survive. But they'd still have to perfect the technology within about 35 years maximum to prevent total global human extinction. Where are we going during the disappearance? Like I'm in, but I just want to be prepared. I like to take some books with me. One thing I imagine is no more debate of breast is best or formula. All the remaining baby boys will be formula fed and more mammies. But ultimately I hope that my husband miss me a bit. I know I'm a piece of work, but I try not to be. Redditors could finally leave the house without fear of encountering one. For one thing, the incels would no longer have anything to complain about. All jokes aside, society as a whole might realize how vital childcare, education and nursing caretaking jobs are. These jobs have low wages, not because they don't require skill, but because they have traditionally been filled by women. 90% of childcare workers are women. The median wage in the US in 2021 was $13.22 an hour. I would lose my only friend. I would be very sad. My bi-curiosity would become a reality. No clue, I'd be gone. Unbearable. Life would be unbearable. A pain in the ass. Professions like nursing, childcare, teaching, etc. would almost entirely disappear overnight, and men would have to figure those things out. There would be a massive restructuring of society. There would also be a lot of homeless kids, due to all of the single moms disappearing. I don't know what would happen during that year, but my God, can you imagine what it would be like the second they get back? You think dudes are terrible to women now, lol. Mass grief will have overtaken the world, because literally everyone will have lost a ton of loved ones all at once. Life would be depressing because I love my wife. World War III within the first year. Not being able to see my mom for days would end with my death. No more women, coffee, memes. I'd vanish. A lot of butt sex. Chaotic. That means many people disappear. If key figures of some organizations are women, the organization might have troubles. Women's sanitary products might expire. When there is no demand, there would be no supply. When they come back, they will not have enough things. Edit change incorrect word. First, I'd be worried for the children, assuming only male ones are left behind. A lot of guys who aren't good dads are going to have to learn how hard it is to hold down a job and take care of the kids, especially babies. Some will be begging to hire male nannies, who can basically ask for a high salary to change diapers and other stuff. Second, a lot of homes are going to start resembling frat houses in terms of cleanliness. Are the kids coming with us? Leaving the kids behind would be very problematic. So many comments about gay sex. If the kids get left behind, where do you think that's gonna be headed? And I don't want to come back until things are as good as or better than when I left. Sausage fest. The world would go up in flames in less than 2 weeks. Y'all men need to be reined in. No children born an entire year. That's gonna contribute to a serious chunk in population growth. Products and services relating to the above, starting from baby showers and scans. Now, will that be a serious threat on the economy? I definitely miss my mom. All of you guys who still can cook or look after yourself independently, your F-ed father. The comment women, coffee, would have gone out of trend. I seriously think the world would turn into a global battle royale. Quick question, why is everybody assuming we'd start fucking each other? I mean, we still have PRN in our hands. Also, the dude should at least ask me out on a date first. The same as it is now. A lot of butthurt people. You should check out the game Lisa the Painful. It sums it up pretty well. Thanos has entered the chat. I would miss my partner, my friends, and my family. My arm would also get a workout. Unwashed. Every closeted gay man would come out immediately. The human world would no doubt collapse. Childcare crisis worse than what it already is. Group polarization of decision making. Our hospital would shut down. Men would probably turn gay until the women come back.
I hope you all are doing well, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed this video. If you have something to say critically or otherwise, leave a comment. And if you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe to see more of it. I hope you all have wonderful and fulfilled lives.